My next guest I've worked with for a couple years. He goes by Bleeding Priest on Gimme Radio, and he's also the drummer for Death Angel. Will the Beastman Carroll. All right, what are you playing, Will?
I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order. Just got my ass kicked by a bounty hunter. Fucking hard game, man.
Is that on the PlayStation or Switch?
Yes, PS4, yeah. I got my Switch finally hooked up to the TV. I had to watch a tutorial.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry about that.
Cool.
So let's talk about from the beginning. What game? What's the first game console you played ever?
First game console I played was a Atari 2600 that a friend had, but the first one I owned was the Atari 5200, which is much better than the 2600. Much better.
What's the difference?
Just the graphics were definitely way better, way more advanced. The gameplay was better. The joysticks were superior. Like the Atari 26 joysticks suck, but the 5200 had a decent joystick with multiple fire buttons on either side. Had a keypad, and yeah, the games were more advanced. Like the football was way better. Everything was better. Like the Dig Dug was just like the arcade. Pac-Man was just like the arcade. Yeah, it's definitely better.
Oh, what's the first game that you played on that console?
I think it was Super Breakout. If you know what that is, do you know what that is?
No, tell me. What is it?
It's like it's a paddle game because like a dial game.
Okay.
And you're a little paddle at the bottom of the screen and a ball bouncing around.
Okay, I feel like I've played that then, but maybe not that generation of it.
Yeah, there's bricks coming down. You have to knock them out. So that was probably the first game I played. But my favorite game on that console was probably James Bond. That was a really fun game. You could drive different vehicles and different scenarios from different movies. I was a big James Bond fan growing up, so that was probably my favorite game. That and a nuclear war game called Countermeasure. It was based on the movie War Games, and it was a map of the world, and you had to stop Russia from bombing the United States.
Oh.
It's a pretty,
wow.
Pretty fun game.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's a cool system.
So, if you're a fan of 007, so you've probably played GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64?
That game ruled, man.
Oh, man. I actually was just playing it. I have it in here somewhere, but I played it the other day. I tried to stream it, but I was having problems.
Yeah, the multiplayer, that was the first game that I really got into multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
The death matches, the 4-player death matches were amazing. So much fun.
Yeah, and you had like the different modes, paintball mode and like big head mode and all that.
Totally. And the campaign, like the single player campaign was fun too. I finished that game a couple times. Really fun. The N64, my favorite game on that though, I'm a big Star Wars nut, but Shadows of the Empire, game. That's the Star Wars game ever made by far.
Right there.
Yep. Hell of a game.
Oh man. Oh, you beat that one?
Yeah, it took me a long time to beat back in the day when I had it. That was a really hard game, but I did finish it. Beating all the bounty hunters is pretty difficult, and beating Boba Fett, but yeah, I did finish that game. Really cool. And I collected all the toys for that game. It was a huge multimedia campaign. They made books and comic books and action figures and toys, and I got everything. I was more into that than the actual movies. Not the original movies, but some of the later movies. Mm-hmm. I thought Shadow of the Empire was way better than some of the later movies.
Oh, man. There was one on the Nintendo 64 I used to rent from, like, Blockbuster when that was still big. And it was the pod racing,
Yeah.
I can't think of what it was called.
Yeah, it was just called Pod Racer.
Oh, okay. And it was a yellow cartridge instead of gray.
Yeah.
I remember that. Dang.
Yeah. I mean, the history of Star Wars games is pretty cool. Like, the first Star Wars game I ever played, video game, was the stand-up arcade game for the first movie. You ever seen that one?
Mm-mm.
It's like a first person shooter. You're in the cockpit of the X-wing, and you're flying through space, dogfighting with TIE fighters. It's vector graphics, so it's like green TIE fighters and blue lasers, and
Okay.
you eventually end up in the Death Star trench. That game was fantastic. And then there was another cool arcade game for Return of the Jedi, and that was more detailed graphics. It wasn't vector; it was full color. And you're flying speeder bikes through the forest on Endor, and it was like a third person view, and you're flying like diagonal across the screen, kind of like Zaxxon. That game ruled. And as far as like home games, 2600 had a couple of lame Star Wars games, but they didn't really start getting good until like N64 came out, and then PlayStation 2 had a game for Episode 1, which was a free roaming world game, and you look down at you could be Anakin or Qui-Gon Jinn, and you're walking around Tatooine. You can interact with every single other character on the screen. You could kill anybody. That was a good game too, really good game, better than the movie.
Leading up to playing Battlefront 2 on PlayStation 2, but then it blows the new Battlefronts right out of the park.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but the first Battlefront's still the best. Like all the sequels have been really disappointing. Go ahead.
No, I remember. So we play on PlayStation. You and I. I wouldn't even say 3 months after Battlefront 2 was released, I feel like it was on sale on PlayStation for like half off because like it was just so terrible.
Yeah, like the worlds weren't as big, it seemed like, and there wasn't that many different options to what world you could be in. You know, like I just remember the first one. It seemed like it was an endless variety of things you could do and places you could go, and just the worlds themselves seemed a lot bigger. And I got bored with it after like 2 or 3 weeks. I stopped playing it.
Dang. So everyone knows that you're a big fan of pinball. You play pinball machines.
Yeah.
Always. What's your favorite pinball machine, Will?
My favorite one's probably either Arabian Nights or Theater of Magic. I also have pinball on my PS4.
Okay.
I have like maybe 40 machines on that, so I practice at home. So it's really weird when I play a machine a bunch at home, you know, with a joystick looking at my screen, and I see it in reality. It's a weird adjustment playing the actual machine, but it's cool because like playing the video game version, I learned where all the targets are and the skill shot and everything. Like I can take my time and really study the game. So when I go to an actual arcade and play it, I know all the tricks. So it gives me a good advantage because sometimes I enter tournaments, and sometimes I do. A lot of the people that play those things are assholes, and I end up getting people. I mean, you'd be surprised. Like there's people with serious egos at these pinball tournaments, and they talk shit. Like it's, I feel like knocking some of them out, but yeah, like I'd say Theater of Magic and Arabian Nights are my two favorite. I also love Twilight Zone. Mm-hmm. I used to hate Creature of the Black Lagoon because it was so hard, but because of the video game version, I've learned how to play that machine, so I enjoy that one a lot now. I know a lot of people love the Addams Family machine. That's like if you look at a list of best pinball machines, mm-hmm. That's always at the top. I like that one, but I don't think it's one of the best.
So you have some favorites, but now let's say if someone's gonna give you a pinball machine, what's the one pinball machine that you would want to have in your house because of the way it looks or the way it plays? I mean, a KISS pinball machine, you know?
Yeah, the original KISS pinball machine from 1978, I think it came out. I would want that one because it just looks so cool and like the whole nostalgia of it all. But for gameplay, it would be Arabian Nights. That game is just so fun, man. And there's so many things to hit, and there's constant missions and like objectives. It's really cool. And for Star Wars, they haven't made a good Star Wars pinball since the 90s. The original one that came out in the 90s was the shit with the Death Star in the corner and R2-D2 in the other corner. That was the best one they've made so far. They've made a few more. One came out about 4 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago. That had was one of the first ones to have a full color display screen, Like, you know how a lot of the pinball machines, it's yellow and black, like a digital yellow and black. This one's full color with scenes from the movie, so that's kind of nice to look at. But the game itself is not as good as the one from the 90s. I think the best pinball machines came out in the 90s for sure. That was the golden era of pinball.
And that Kiss machine you're talking about, what's the song or soundtrack that thing plays? Do you
for
remember?
Arabian?
No, for the Kiss one.
The Kiss one from the 70s, when you put your quarters in and press start, it plays Rock and Roll All Night. But a total, like, old school digitized version of it.
Like 16-bit or something?
Exactly. But it plays a little melody from Rock and Roll All Night. The one that came out a few years ago plays actual Kiss songs. Like, it has like 10 or 12 Kiss songs that you can choose from. That machine's fun too. It's very similar to the old school one, but I just prefer the original one.
Do you know what your highest score is on a pinball machine? And what machine it is? For people out there watching to try to beat you.
Pinball machine was a machine called Fishtails. The theme of the game is fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got like almost 100 million on that machine once. And that's probably the highest score.
Wow.
But a lot of the machines have different scoring. You know, like some of them are low scoring, high scoring. But the longest game I ever played was maybe Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation. One night, I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just enough drunk or just enough high, but I played like a 40-minute game on that machine. Oh, I know what my highest score was. It was on Monster Bash. You ever hear of that one? It has all the classic old school Hollywood monsters like the Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, and they're forming a band, the Monsters of Rock. Get it? Yeah. And I kicked ass on that machine. I mean, I usually play well on that machine. It's a pretty easy machine. But once I played a game that almost went up to an hour, one game, and I can't even remember how high the score was, but I got the highest grand champion score on that one. That's a fun machine too, Monster Bash. Really cool.
Dang. So you have a Switch. What are some games that you're playing on your Switch right now?
Currently I'm playing Assassin's Creed 3. That was a gift. Someone gave it to me recently. And that's fun. I like the Assassin's Creed game. The stealth. Mm-hmm. The stealth of it all is pretty fun. And I'm also playing arcade classics like Rolling Thunder. I have a Capcom arcade classics with Rolling Thunder and Dig Dug. Has a bunch of different Pac-Man on it. I don't really play Pac-Man though. Has Galaga. I play that a lot. It has Galaga 88. That was a sequel that came out in 1988. That game rules. I also had that game on my TurboGrafx. I love that system. I still have it, actually. It's not hooked up, but did you ever hear of TurboGrafx 16?
No.
It was one of the first 16-bit home entertainment systems, and it came out in the late 80s, and its span was from the late 80s to like the mid-90s, and then vanished. And the cartridges were little like credit card looking things, and you just slide it in. That had a lot of games were just made for that system. Like it had Bonk's Revenge or something. It was like Mario Brothers, but you're a caveman and you smash things with your head. The slogan of the game was the world's first headbanger. So that was a fun game. And I had a game called Bloody Wolf that was like a Rambo type of game. Great football game. But it also, it had Splatterhouse. You ever hear of that game?
No.
And that's also on the Capcom arcade classics. So playing those games brings me back to the TurboGrafx 16 days. But yeah, I'm just playing arcade classics on my Switch right now. And Assassin's Creed.
What's a game that you hear the soundtrack to that takes you back to your childhood the most? You know, what's the one game that stands out to you?
Dig Dug, definitely. Because the music's non-stop in that game. As long as you're moving, the music plays. Once you stop moving, it stops. The music stops. So I'm constantly moving, and that music's definitely ingrained in my brain. And just the intro to Pac-Man is definitely the second you hear that, you can't miss it. Yeah, those are two games that definitely the music brings me back.
What game has the best soundtrack, like Metal Track or whatever, you know?
I would have to say Skyrim has the best original score. They even put out a CD of the music for that, and it sold really well, too.
Do you own a vinyl?
I don't know if it came out on vinyl. That's a good question.
Okay.
I would get it if it was on vinyl, for sure. But I've seen people have Skyrim weddings online, and they get married to the theme music to that game. But the music of that game was like Lord of the Rings type of music.
Yeah.
Lots of horns and like lot of like a chorus, like a chorus line of women's going stuff like that. Really cool. Skyrim is my favorite video game of all time. I probably didn't mention that when I sent you my list of games. I forgot that game, but as far as a home console game, that's the best game ever made.
Have you beat it? I hear it's long, right? It's like a really long game.
Yeah, like initially when I played it the first time on the N63, the PS3, it took me almost 2 years to finish, and that's like playing a little bit every day. It took me about 2 years to complete every mission and get 100%, which I don't even think I got 100%. I probably got like 95%, but I finished the main story and most of the side missions. So that was the longest game I had ever played. And just the free roaming world is so huge, and there's so many options. There's a million things you can do. Even when the game is finished, you can still play and do lots of different shit. And it's still entertaining. And then I got it on the Nintendo Switch as well. On the last tour, or maybe 2 tours ago on the US tour, I played it and finished it. Like I started it when the tour started and finished it by the end of the tour because I knew where to go and I knew all the tricks and everything. So It took me a month to finish. But initially it took me about 2 years to finish. Wow. It was an awesome game. I love like medieval stuff and Lord of the Rings type of stuff, and that game is right up my alley.
So, speaking of long games, I know you played Red Dead Redemption 2. You ever beat that?
Yeah, I finished that game.
But not 2 years, right? Didn't take no 2 years?
No, I took about 2 months. Yeah, but that's a fun game. In fact, I'm going to start playing online with a couple of friends. A friend in Portland and a friend who's in Massachusetts. We're going to start playing online, so I'm looking forward to that because I haven't tried the online version. Have you?
No, I don't own it. I'm not a Western person, so I didn't want to waste the money.
Nor am I. I'm not into Westerns really either, but it's a Rockstar game. Rockstar Games made it, so it's going to be fun. It's like a Western version of Grand Theft Auto, kind of. It's really cool.
It is pretty cool. You can lasso people and drag them and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could torture people. You could do all kinds of evil stuff to people on that game. I loved all the Grand Theft Autos, even the original one. Did you ever play the original one?
No, I started out at Grand Theft Auto 3, so. Yeah,
I think I started on Grand Theft Auto 2. That was still an old school game. Like, you're looking down, and it was like kind of like a Pac-Man maze, kind of, but those full color graphics. But you're blowing up like armored cars and doing drug deliveries, but way more primitive. It wasn't until 3 when they had the free roaming world and the third person perspective. But all those games rule, man. I can't wait for the next one to come out. And playing online is really fun too. You could do races. You could do heists with other people. You could have you could form a gang and fight another gang online. There's a lot of shit you can do. It's really fun. Rob banks with your friends.
Do you have any guess, or is there any place that you would like the number 6 to take place? What city?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think they've done one in New York yet, have they?
I think number 4 was. I think number 4 had the Brooklyn, because you would go to the airport.
Right. Totally right. Well, they should do one in San Francisco, the Bay Area.
There you go. Because I know San Andreas had Vegas and
LA.
Yeah.
Right?
So, somewhere else, but yeah, San Francisco would be cool. That'd
totally.
Be badass.
Now, there was a game called Driver. You remember that game?
Okay, yes.
It was on PS2, and they had a San Francisco level, like So just doing those races and speeding up those hills and jumping the hills, oh man, that was rad. So that'd be great to have a Grand Theft Auto for San Francisco, for sure.
So with all this time at home, you playing games a lot right now?
I mean, I'm trying not to spend my whole day. I can easily play this Star Wars game all day because it's really hard. And I'm barely halfway through it. I'm not even halfway through it, I don't think. And I've had it for a few weeks. But, yeah, I am playing a lot of games, but not trying to dedicate all my time to it. I got to do physical therapy, and I'm practicing with the sticks and drum pads, so I'm trying to be responsible. But, yeah, I am playing a lot of games.
Tell me a game that you've never beat because it's too hard and you just give up. I mean, is there one?
I don't think so. Once I dedicate myself to a game, I'll stick with it, even if I'm sick of it, or even if I don't like the game. Once I start it, I'll finish it. You know what game I've never finished was Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
I never finished that game, and I love that game. Even though it was really hard. It's one of the hardest video games I ever played. But yeah, I never got to the final boss. I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, that's one game I never finished. But I love all the Resident Evils. Not all of them. Some of the later ones, the more recent ones, kind of suck. They're kind of rehashing a lot of shit. But up until a point, I love that franchise. Up until like 4, the first 4 were fantastic.
So, same question I ask everyone. What's a game that you thought you weren't going to like but ended up loving it?
Katamari. You know that game, Katamari?
Doesn't sound familiar.
A friend of mine who's a big gamer told me about it. And it's a Japanese game with like total Japanese kind of graphics. Everything's kind of cute and goofy looking. Not goofy, but like Japan anime looking. And the soundtrack is all like goofy Japanese kind of music you hear on commercials and stuff. Not that I'm saying Japanese are goofy, but you know what I mean. The cartoons are kind of goofy, and that's kind of the look and sound of the game. And I was like, I'm not gonna. I don't like anime that much, and especially video games that are anime. That's why I don't play Zelda or not Zelda. Final Fantasy. I don't play those games. But I like the way they look.
Me neither. I don't play that.
So, like, my friend was like, dude, this game, you have to play it. There's no other game like it. And he lent it to me, and LaShawn, actually, both of us got addicted to this game. The premise of the game is you're a little ball rolling around on the floor of a kitchen, and you start accumulating everything you touch gets stuck to your ball, like a thumbtack or a paper clip. And you start like spilt cat food. You pick up all the little cat food pieces, and you start growing. And that's the purpose of the game. You want to grow so large that you eat the planet Earth. So this game goes on forever. So you eventually get so big that you're rolling over cities and rolling over houses. And then you get so big you're rolling over skyscrapers. And you get so big you're rolling over pieces of land, and you're wiping out parts of a state. And the game is incredible. I never thought I'd like it, but it's the weirdest game ever. They've made like 3 of them, 2 or 3, and I've played all of them. And they made them all for PS3 and PS2. I don't know if they have them for the PS4 or if they even made another one, but I guess you can only go so far with this game. But the game's incredible. I was so against it. Even when I started playing, I'm like, this is the stupidest game. You're just rolling around picking stuff up, but you get into it, man. It was really addicting, highly addicting.
So, with your passion and your love for drumming and also playing games, what's a game franchise or game that you would love to drum on the soundtrack for?
Maybe Grand Theft Auto, because they have a lot of cool music on that game with the radio stations. You could change the stations. I would like one of the songs I have drummed on, like a Death Angel song or something. That'd be cool to have that as a part of Grand Theft Auto. I'd be really stoked.
What if you got your Bleeding Priest from Gimme Radio on there? Like your own station or...
That's even a better idea. One of the stations with my show, that would be awesome.
So you hear that, Rockstar? Reach out.
Yeah, totally. On one of the Grand Theft Autos, it was either 3 or 4. Did they make a part 4? How far up are they on those?
We're on
4.
5 now.
5, yeah, they're at 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think on 4, one of the radio stations was a rock station, like a classic rock station, and the DJ was Axl Rose.
Okay, yeah, that sounds, yeah.
And I didn't know that. And it's funny, too, because, like, I would pull over, like, if I was in a car on the game, I'd pull over and just listen to the station for a while, because the DJ would give a lot of cool factoids about whatever song you just heard.
Mm-hmm. And
I was like, wow, this DJ is really cool. Like, they got someone really cool for this game. And I didn't know it was Axl Rose until I finished the game and I was reading the credits go up, and it said classic rock DJ Axl Rose. I was like, oh shit! Wow. So I had to play the game again just to listen to his voice. I'm like, oh, that is Axl Rose talking. Wow. Damn. So yeah, I would love to do that. That would be amazing.
Dang. So playing games probably your whole life, right? What's a game that you've like fucking gotten a fight with a friend over, you know? I mean, maybe not physical, but, you know, just kind of ruins a friendship or pisses you off. And
always football. Whenever I play head-to-head football, that would turn in, you know, if you're getting your ass kicked or someone did a sketchy play, it's like, what the fuck was that? You know, like, that definitely, I didn't lose any friends, but I didn't talk to some people for a while. Playing, like, I don't play football anymore on video games because it's just too difficult. It's just too advanced, and you have to study the playbooks just to get a play executed, and it's just too much for me. I don't have enough time to learn all the plays. But the older Maddens, like, I played the Madden 1 through 10. I played the first 10, and yeah, I would get in some heated games and not talk to some people, including my brother. Like, I wouldn't, like, we would play old school 5200 football or TurboGrafx 16 football, and I usually beat him, and he would take it pretty hard sometimes.
What's your favorite type of game? I mean, do you like racing, fighting? I mean,
I like role playing, third person, free roaming world type of games. Like the fuck is that game where you're on Earth in the future, and it's Fallout. Like, I love the Fallout games. Mm-hmm. I haven't played one in a while, but I played a couple of those, and I like the free roaming world, kill anything type of game. I'm really into those type of games, role playing games.
Is there any upcoming titles that you're looking forward to playing or purchasing?
I'm hoping another Witcher will come out.
Mm-hmm.
I played The Witcher 3 and loved it.
Did you watch the series on Netflix?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people bag on it, but I thought it was killer.
See,
I thought it was great.
I've never played the game, but I thought the series was fantastic, which would make me want to play the game.
And the guy they got to play, I forget the main character's name, but the guy they got him to play did a great job. He looked just like the dude in the game, and yeah, I thought it was killer. It was like Game of Thrones with monsters. You know, it was really cool. But I'm looking forward to another Witcher. I'm sure they're working on one, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next Elder Scrolls game.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, Skyrim. The next Elder Scrolls game. Those are two, and the next Fallout. They're working on that, so the next Fallout's going to be killer. The next Grand Theft Auto, all the free roaming open world games, I'm looking forward to coming out for sure. And the next arcade classics for sure.
So you say you're gonna play online with some friends. What all games does that entail? Is it just the one, or are you gonna try to play some other games like Warzone? I mean, Call of Duty, it's free download. Fortnite, free download. You know, all that kind of stuff.
I haven't thought about it, but the only game I have right now that you can play online with friends is I have Red Dead Redemption. Actually, I have maybe a few other games. I have a lot of games just packed away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look through them, but as of now, it's just going to be Red Dead Redemption. But after that, I'd love to do Fallout online. I have that as well, but I don't know if they have it. But as far as my two friends, we all have Red Dead Redemption, so I'll start with that, you know.
Gotcha. How many people can you have in a match on Red Dead Redemption?
I think 4.
Gotcha. Maybe I have to buy it. I mean, with all this downtime.
Yeah, I think you can even play poker with your friends
in the game. Really?
It's like, Yeah, you go into a saloon and gamble with your friends. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things you can do.
Oh man. Do you have any funny stories about gaming? I mean, like with friends at home or anything?
Huh. Uh, well, back when I used to do speed, me and a friend of mine who will remain nameless, we used to tweak out and play WWF for 14 hours straight.
Holy sh-
The old one, the original one that was on the original Nintendo. There was a great wrestling game on the original Nintendo that had the actual wrestlers from the time, like Ultimate Warrior and all those people. And yeah, we would just tweak and play that game all fucking night, all night, and into all day. So I don't know how funny that is, but
that's good. Have you ever broken a controller or busted a TV playing a game because you got pissed at it?
I've never done. I've never thrown down a controller, but never broken one or smashed a TV. I mean, I had a Wii for a while, and I accidentally threw my controller and it hit my TV, but it didn't break it.
Thankfully.
You know, like I was playing tennis or whatever, and it flew out of my hand. But no, I've never broken anything. I've played controllers, and actually just recently, one of my PS4 controllers died on me. Completely died. Buy a new one like 2 weeks ago.
Dang.
I think the battery ran out on it. You know, sometimes I'll go to bed and leave it on all night. You know, which I know is not good for the system. But yeah, I think the battery must have died on it, but it stopped working, so I had to get a new one.
So I know you have a PS4. We're friends on PlayStation. Are you? This is a good question, I think. Are you a PlayStation person, or do you like Xbox? Or do you care at all?
I don't like Xbox. I stick with PlayStation. That's enough for me, man. Because Xbox seems to cater to online playing. Like that's their special feature, you know. And I don't online play that much. I mean, I'm going to start playing the Red Dead, but maybe I'll get into that. But as of now, I just play at home by myself. So I don't see the point of having an Xbox if that's what they're pushing is online playing. So I'm happy with the PS4.
Are you looking into getting the PS5 when it drops
next
holiday?
Of course. Absolutely. Is it coming out this Christmas?
So from what I read, that it's coming out, this holiday. And they said that because of this pandemic, there won't be a delay, but there may be like a shortage on consoles available, which would the prices go up at the beginning, you know, or I don't know. But my goal is to get my hands on one.
They say how much it's going to cost initially?
No, nothing. But from what I'm reading, it's going to be cheaper than the Xbox because the Xbox has better specs. But I mean, I'm a PlayStation person, so if it's cheaper,
the Xbox
cheaper.
has better, the Xbox has better what?
Specs. It's going to be a better console. But But once again, like you're saying, I mean, Xbox is more of an all-around entertainment system, you know? Because I remember when Xbox One came out, you could connect it to your satellite or something, and you could like tell, hey, Xbox, you know, turn on satellite or whatever. And PlayStation, you can't do that because PlayStation is just the game console and not an entertainment.
I mean, I'm definitely going to get it when it comes out. Like, I bought the PS4 the first month that was out, and yeah, I'm definitely going to get it.
Are you still on that same PS4, or did you have to buy a new one?
Hell no. I'm on my second one. Like, my first one died like maybe a year and a half ago, and now I bought a PlayStation Pro, PS4 Pro, and it loads games quicker. And if you have a high def TV, it's just sharper looking. And there's other features I haven't learned yet that you can do with it.
Yeah.
But it definitely loads games quicker, and I'm happy with it. It looks really cool. It's burly looking. So yeah, I'm on my second PS4. I also went through 2 PS3s as well, so I use them a lot. I also watch a lot of Netflix and shit on it, you know. So I have it on all day, all the time, you know. So yeah, I definitely love it.
Being a musician, playing drums, if you ever played Rock Band, Guitar Hero?
I knew you were going to ask that. No way, man. I hate those games. I mean, Guitar Hero is kind of fun, I guess. Stupid kind of way. But the Rock Band, like, I tried it once. I sat behind the drums, I had a good friend of Ted of mine's. We went to his house and he had it. He had the kit set up, and Ted was there. And he's like, "Go ahead, try it out." And he had a bunch of metal songs downloaded. He had Merciful Fate's "Evil" on there, and that's a song Ted and I know by heart. We actually played at soundcheck sometimes all the way through. Like we used to play it in our old band Warfare DC. So I know that song by heart. Mm-hmm. I get behind the kit. And I start like choking the cymbals and playing like how you play a drum set, and I was getting 0 points and getting booed, like boo, like on the game they start booing you and the crowd throws stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like I'm playing the song exactly how it goes, and they're like, no, that's not how it goes. You gotta hit a cymbal and hit a bass drum and then a snare. You have to follow like what they tell you to hit in rhythm with the song. And I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, this isn't for me, man.
So they made a game, and I think it's called Rocksmith or something like that. So what it is you take your actual guitar, you plug into your guitar, and you actually play the real notes on the game, which is kind of cool. So you're not actually just playing the 5 notes. You're actually playing your 6-string guitar, 4-string bass.
Sure.
But I think they need to make something like that for the drums, where you can like put little mics or sensors or something. So.
For what system? For PS4?
Yeah, when I say PS4 has it, PlayStation, Xbox One, yeah, they have it. But I mean, yeah, just a little USB dongle that plugs right into your electric guitar, and you can just play too. It like teaches you how to play and whatever else.
Well, I actual arcades, which are hard to find these days, but down in Santa Cruz, there's an arcade on the boardwalk, and they had an electronic drum set in a closed off like plastic cage looking type of thing. It was a video game, and you could play along to there's a whole library of songs, and you play along to it, and if you make mistakes you lose points. But that was really cool because you're actually playing how you're supposed to play it. You're not just going da 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 da, you know. And there was such a huge, I never played it though, there was a line for it, and people would go in there and be in there for like an hour at a time. So I never got a chance to play it, but I was watching people play it, and it was really cool, man. Everyone was picking Rush songs. Every time I went by there, they were playing Rush songs. You know, really cool drumming on those songs. So, and really hard too. And there's this one guy, he was obviously a drummer. He was in there for like an hour, and he was kicking ass, doing all kinds of Rush songs. It was pretty cool to watch.
So, when you guys play live, maybe during sound check or when Mark's talking, Damien will sometimes play like the Mario tune on the bass. Is there any game songs that you play on the drums? I mean, whether you're at home or anything, is there any like beat that you like to play?
No, I mean, there's not really too many drum parts in old school video games. It's usually all, it's all musical notes. Mm-hmm. You don't really hear drums too much. So no.
Fair enough. Dang. Trying to think of another question. It's been 40 minutes now. Is there anything you want to talk about? I mean,
I just love old school games. Like the second wave of video games, like after Pac-Man, Space Invaders, all that stuff. Like when they started making like Gauntlet, I love Gauntlet. You know that game?
Yeah. So I'd never played the arcade. But on PlayStation 2, they released Gauntlet Dark Legacy. So, I mean, you have the 4 classes.
Oh, that's way different. But I played that game too. That's really cool. I played all the different Gauntlets. They had like 3 or 4 different ones on PS2 and PS3. But the original Gauntlet is you're looking down from above, and it's like it's like the original dungeon crawl game, and there's just constant waves of ghosts and goblins coming at you, and you're just fighting your way through an endless maze. And that game just goes on forever. And the arcade version was either 3 or 4 player. I think it was 3 player, 3 joysticks. And you could be a barbarian, a warrior, or a Valkyrie, or a wizard, or an elf. And yeah, that's the first game I got seriously addicted to and started spending all my money on. So I just love old games, and I love Tempest. That's one of the original video games that I fell in love with. Great game, vector graphics, Sinistar. Just lots of old games I love. I'm waiting for a proper version of Tempest to come out on a home game system. They've put it on some arcade classics, but the Tempest in the arcade is a dial
Okay.
because you're spinning around, and that's the only way you can play it properly is with a dial. And they've put it out on different PlayStations, but you're using the joystick, and it just doesn't have the same feel. So I'm waiting for maybe PS5 will come out with a dial joystick and have a few games like Grappleless and Tempest. The dial games are really fun, and even like old school tennis was on a dial. Another game that my brother used to get really pissed off. It was a football game. I never really played it because I was too young, and I was too short to play it. But it was a tabletop football game. It was like the first football game to ever come out, I think, on an arcade, and it was huge. It was a gigantic tabletop game, and you're looking down at the field, and it was a trackball. It was almost the size of a bowling ball. It was huge, a giant trackball, and it was X's versus O's, and you have to like roll the trackball as fast as you could to get the player to move down the screen. And it was so slow moving that you just go as fast as you could, and your finger would get caught. And like I remember them having blisters and like this cuts all over their fingers after playing that game. And they used to get into heated games playing that game. That's the first time I saw a trackball game. I was like, whoa! Like now they have it for Golden Tee Golf. Oh, here's a funny story. At this club called the Cocodrie in San Francisco, it's not there anymore. One of my other band's old granddad were playing there. We were opening for Suffocation, and in the back of it was a really small club too. But in the back of the club by the bar, they had maybe the original Golden Tee Golf, and I love golf video games. I love them; they're so fucking fun. So I was playing that before we were going on during the opening dance, and I was teeing off, and I went too far with my hand and jammed it into the screen, and I had to play the whole show with my middle finger too, and I had to tape up my finger. And I played the whole show with my middle finger sticking out the whole time. So that's a pretty funny story.
Awesome. All right, Will, let me ask, being on the road, playing games and stuff, what do you prefer more, Uno or Yahtzee?
Oh, Yahtzee by a long shot.
Yeah.
Uno's too hard to cheat at. Like when Uno games go on for like 2 hours, and I've played some games that have gone on for like 2 hours, that means someone's cheating. Someone's holding out and not throwing down the card. Like if there's like a red 7 like showing, and they have 7s or a red card, and they still don't throw it down and they draw, they're just prolonging the game. Like you got to throw down what you have. That's the rule of the game. So yeah, Uno, there's always someone cheating, and it's just or someone who doesn't really know how to play it properly, and it just prolongs the game, and it just gets really boring and monotonous. With Yahtzee, it's impossible to cheat because you're looking at the dice. Everyone can see what you rolled, unless you're writing down the wrong score on your scorecard. But
fair.
Yeah, I definitely like. And Yahtzee, you have to use your brain a little bit. Like you have to make decisions. Like, should I go for a 4 of a kind, or should I go for my 5s, or and it requires math skills, and it's like it has the same rules as poker more or less. So definitely Yahtzee.
Is there anything you want to say to anyone watching this video or when it releases?
Check out old school original video games like from the 80s. I'm not saying it's the golden age of video games. I think right now there is a golden age of video games. But you should check out the old games like Tempest and Burger Time. Burger Time's an awesome game. And there's a lot of shitty games from back then too, but the Return of the Jedi video game is amazing. And just the games I've talked about in this show, you should check out if you're not familiar with them. They're really fun.
All right, Will. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time, and I don't want this video to shut out in the middle.
A lot of fun.
Thank you for participating. Maybe we'll do this again. I do want to take this on the road when we go out, and I want to bring a little console with us and just shoot videos of us playing, live in person. So thank you again. Get well. Glad to see you're doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Cool, man. See you, Austin.